The 10 best things to do in Israel. Israel, polarizing, fascinating, complicated, magnificent. Perhaps the single most historically important destination in the world. Here are the 10 best things to do in Israel, beginning with Jerusalem.
This is Jerusalem, and over my shoulder is the Golden Dome. This is the center of so much Western history. It goes back to Abraham and Isaac, King David, Solomon. It doesn't matter what your faith is. The faiths of so much of the world emanates from this very place, classically known as Zion throughout the world. Jerusalem is one of the single most important places in all of history.
Jerusalem, the centerpiece of the three Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Jerusalem is a surprisingly beautiful and modern city, despite the fact that it is the caretaker for some of the most important historic treasures found anywhere in the world.
We are now in Palestine as we find our way here to Bethlehem.
Bethlehem, famous for being the birthplace of Jesus and home to the Church of the Nativity, which is built on the very spot Jesus was born. Pilgrims come from throughout the Western, Eastern, and Southern worlds to kiss a tiny niche in the grotto beneath the oldest church in the Holy Land, on the exact place where the baby Jesus came into the world. Although it was exciting for a family of 5 from Hawaii to walk across the West Bank of Palestine, it was safe and definitely worthwhile.
We're here on the River Jordan, at the very place where John the Baptist baptized Jesus Christ.
The Jordan River. The baptism of Jesus, described in Matthew 3:15 and 3:16, is one of the few historical facts we know about Jesus' life. To be able to swim in the very spot in the Jordan River where Jesus was baptized by John is a simple thing, but a lifetime highlight. The Dead Sea. At minus 1,400 feet from sea level, the Dead Sea is the single lowest land-based elevation in the world, by a lot. It is also almost 10 times saltier than the ocean, which has therapeutic benefits as well as making it famously easy to float upon. It shares borders with Palestine, Jordan, and Israel, and has been a place where people of different worlds have come together in peace for thousands of years. Tel Aviv, Israel's largest metropolitan center. Tel Aviv has the largest per capita economic output in the Middle East and the highest cost of living in the world. Tel Aviv is also a university town, a party town, and all walks of life are welcome. Tel Aviv's White City, a collection of over 4,000 buildings constructed in the 1930s in the international style known as Bauhaus, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, as an outstanding example of new town planning and architecture in the early 20th century. We are now in the Baha'i Gardens, just outside of Haifa in the north of Israel. Haifa, another UNESCO World Heritage Site, the Baha'i Gardens, is the centerpiece of Israel's third largest city. Haifa is built on the slopes of Mount Carmel and has existed continuously for 3,000 years. Founded as Sycamium by the Phoenicians, it has been ruled by the Romans, Muslims, Crusaders, and Ottomans, which makes it a perfect destination for lovers of history.
We're here now in Nazareth. We're actually in the hills up above Nazareth, And down in the valley, you'll have the Church of the Annunciation, Mary's Well. You'll have the Church of Joseph, which is right next door to the Church of the Annunciation. We'll be heading down there in a moment.
Nazareth, home to the Church of the Annunciation, whereupon the angel Gabriel told Mary she would give birth to Jesus, and famous for being the hometown of Jesus. Nazareth is the centerpiece of the Arab citizens of Israel, and like many places in Israel, is a feast for connoisseurs of history. Masada, yet another UNESCO World Heritage Site. Masada is the site of the climactic finale to the First Jewish-Roman War. Though some ambiguity exists as to the certainty of events which are ascribed to have happened here, Masada features impressive hiking and ecotourism, as well as major archaeological discoveries and the important Masada Museum. If you're hiking from the Dead Sea Highway up the Snake Trail, start early. It's a steep climb, and in the summer, the temperature is often above 110 degrees.
So Saturday, or Shabbat, is a day of relaxing for people of the Jewish faith. So you don't see any cars on the road, but what you do see is here at the Sea of Galilee, where families are absolutely having the time of their lives.
Sea of Galilee, the second lowest place in the world at -705 feet from sea level. The Sea of Galilee is fresh water, fed by both underground springs and the Jordan River. Galilee is where many of Jesus' stories occurred, such as walking on water, calming the storms, and the feeding of 5,000 people, where Jesus took 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish given to him by a boy and fed 5,000 people until they were full, with 12 baskets of food left over. Today, the Sea of Galilee is one of the most popular tourism stops in all of Israel.
As a kid, you hear so much about the Mount of the Beatitudes that to be here, especially with the Sea of Galilee right over my shoulder, pretty darn cool.
Mount of Beatitudes. Commemorated continuously for over 1,600 years, Mount of Beatitudes is a fascinating place to contemplate and reflect.
What you're seeing is exactly what Jesus would have seen when he was giving his Sermon on the Mount. The famous speech, "Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name," was said on a breezy day up the slopes of the Sea of Galilee, right up here on the Mount of the Beatitudes.
Home today to countless banana plantations, it's a reminder that time marches on. And even though we are fascinated and perplexed by the amazing stories of history, it's still just as exciting to make a little history of our own. Thanks for watching.